Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Kristen, this is my booktube, and today's video is a long-awaited one. It is my Eras DIY concert outfit. Initially, this did have a reading vlog component to it, but because it has been God, how many months now? Since it has been like 5 months since I went to this concert, I decided to leave that portion out. So just know that there was at one point a reading component to this video, but because it took me so long to post it, this is going to be purely a DIY, I guess kind of cosplay-y type video. So I guess a little background before we just jump on into this. This was my second time going to the Eras tour. I went at the beginning of the tour when it stopped in Arlington, and I made a whole vlog about that as well. That one does have a reading component to it. So if you're interested in that video, I will leave a link to it somewhere on this video. And that was in April of 2023. And then I also went to the very last Eras Tour show in Vancouver, British Columbia on December 8th, 2024. So since it was the final stop, the final show of the Eras Tour, I decided I wanted to go all out and try to recreate one of her outfits. I did more of a low-key outfit. It was more themed like Reputation / a little bit of 1989. It was not something that I put a lot of time and effort into. I think I basically already owned everything that I wore to that concert, and then I just did like some special makeup. I did a 13 on the back of my hand, you know, normal Taylor Swift concert things. But this time I really wanted to go all out since it was the end of an era, quite literally. And so when we got the tickets for Vancouver, almost a year out, I was already thinking about what I wanted to wear to the concert. As you're all probably aware, I really enjoy a DIY. This is not the first concert that I've put a lot of effort into the outfit. I think part of the reason why I didn't go harder on the Taylor Swift concert outfit the first time I went was because I was already working on my Elton John outfit where I made the Dodgers bedazzled jersey, which is also on my channel as well. If you're interested in that, I will also leave that linked. So I had dabbled a little bit in doing some DIY rhinestoning for a concert outfit, and it came out really good. I've worn it for Halloween, I wore it to the concert, and I still have it. I've washed it a couple times, the gem stayed on pretty well, so I decided to step it up a little bit for the final show of the Eras tour. And so I decided to recreate the Midnight's bodysuit and the Karma tinsel jacket. This was a big undertaking. I have not done this much rhinestoning before. I definitely have not made a coat from scratch before, but I know the basics of sewing, so I felt like I knew enough to be able to brute force my way to a passable DIY version of the Midnight's bodysuit and tinsel jacket. I know I used like over 50 yards of tinsel. I had thousands and thousands of rhinestones. I couldn't even tell you how many are on the actual bodysuit, but I can tell you it is heavy. It is a very heavy outfit. I think those two things alone probably weighed like close to 10 pounds, and I don't feel like I'm exaggerating when I say that, but just know that they're heavy. So everything that I used in this project I either got from Joann's, Michael's, or Amazon. I don't even want to think about how much it ended up costing in the end. It's probably around at least $300 for the whole outfit, and it took months of my time to finish. So definitely labor intensive, expensive, and tedious. And I also did injure myself in the process. I ended up snipping my finger with my fabric shears at one point. So we'll also throw in dangerous as well. So even though I lost my SD card and it took months for me to find it so that I could actually make this video, I still wanted to post it because I put a lot of time and effort into doing this outfit, and I really wanted to share it with you you all. Plus, we are now 2 years out from when the Eras Tour officially started. The 2-year anniversary actually happened in March, but we're close enough. So for the 2-year anniversary of the Eras Tour beginning and in celebration of the final Eras show, I wanted to still put this together and get it out to you guys. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump on into the meat of this video, my DIY Eras Tour outfit.
Okay, so as you can see, I started this endeavor a long time ago in May of 2024. That is when I got all of the fabric for the coat. I went to Joann's, RIP Joann's, and bought the lining that you see me tracing and cutting out, as well as the fabric for the outer portion of the coat. And I also got what's called Thinsulate, and it is very thin insulation for coats that are lightweight and stuff like that. The pattern that I'm using is actually a pattern for a faux fur coat that I got on Etsy for about like $4 or $5, I think. It was just a PDF pattern, and then as you can see, I printed out all of the pages and then taped them together with some masking tape. And I really liked this pattern. It turned out pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. I think that if I wasn't sewing a million yards of tinsel onto the coat, it could have come out a lot better in the construction than it did, but thankfully the tinsel hides a lot of the imperfections that are on this coat in the end. I had little white pencils that you're supposed to use to trace patterns onto fabric, but they weren't really working all that well. So I just grabbed a piece of chalk from my kitchen and used that instead to trace out these pieces. I honestly don't remember how many yards of each fabric that I got. I want to say I got 4 to 5. I do know that I had less of this outer fabric than I did of the lining. I did end up having enough for the whole pattern. This pattern also included like a collar and pockets on the outside, and I did a little bit of editing to it myself. I took the collar away, I switched the pockets from being on the inside to the outside, that kind of thing. And now you can see I'm pinning together the lining of the jacket, and I did periodically try these pieces on after pinning them together, but before sewing everything together, just to make sure that it was going to fit the way that I wanted it to. That way I didn't get too far into the project before realizing. And now we're skipping ahead a bit to the actual sewing on of the fringe. I'm not gonna lie, I did fight a lot with the construction of this jacket just because there's so many layers and it's hard to hold all of the pieces together and also film myself doing that at the same time. So I didn't really do much recording of that part. You'll have to forgive me for that, but I did sew all of these pieces together, and now for the fun part, putting on the trim. At least the fun part to watch. It was not all that fun actually doing it, as you will see as we get further into this video. At this point, it has also been a couple months, and during this time, I wasn't just not thinking about this project at all. I was mostly caught up in trying to find the right bodysuit for the inner portion. I had a really hard time finding a good bodysuit for this project that fit the style that I wanted. And then I found the perfect one in like early November. So most of this project I finished in under a month. The coat I did start a little bit early. Pretty much all I did was cut out the pieces for the coat, and I did not actually sew anything together, I don't think, until around the end of September, early October, and really did not get deep into actually constructing this outfit until November. So this was a pretty fast turnaround time, not on purpose, but fast turnaround time nonetheless.
Alrighty, good morning, friends. I have not really checked in like at all throughout this process, mostly because I haven't been working on it consistently until now because I procrastinated a bit too long. Well, wasn't full on just procrastination. It took me a while to find materials that I needed that fit the vision that I had in my head. So today is Sunday, November 24th. I leave for Vancouver in about a week and a half. So I really need to get going on my Era's outfit. So I am basically working as hard and fast as I can to get my Era's outfit done. So I figured since I have now started really constructing the jacket, I could give you a bit more of a detailed overview of what I've done so far before I hop into doing more work today. Alrighty, so here's the jacket so far, and then the bodysuit is underneath, but as you can see, I've literally done nothing but do like the lining with rhinestones just to make sure that the rhinestone glue like adheres well, that it's like pretty stable. And it is. So this was kind of like my test run because I'm using glue that I have not used before. I'm using this B7000 glue, and as you can tell, this fringe is staining my hands pink as I am working with it, but this is the glue that I'm using for the rhinestones, and it has really good reviews. I think it's going to work great, but I just wanted to be sure, so I did a little test strip here before the rest of my rhinestones and stuff come in. Ignore the mess on this shelf. This is all like rhinestone stuff, so it is pertinent to what is going on here. As far as the jacket itself goes, it doesn't look like I've done all that much, but I'm gonna try to show you here, but you can kind of see I sewed these like really close together in layers so that no matter how I move my arm or if I have my arms up or whatever, you don't really see any gaps in between each layer of fringe. And I think that it's looking really good so far. So I'm gonna continue doing that all the way up the arm. And then as you can see on the body of the jacket, I did not layer them as closely. I was afraid of going too thick at first. So I kind of measured them out to be about 2.5 inches apart. And then I added 3 layers to each section. But I think after doing the sleeve, I think I might have enough to actually fill in some of these blank spaces and make the body a bit more full too. I really just wanted to make sure that I had enough fringe to fully cover the jacket, because at this point it's so close to when we're leaving that I'm not completely confident that if I order more fringe, it will be here in time. So I'm just trying to make sure that what I have will cover the entire jacket. And after I finished doing all of this yesterday, I only used 3 packs of the 10 that I have. So we have 7 packs left to do the rest of the jacket. So I think that we will have enough to really make this a nice and full tinsel jacket, which I'm very excited about. So that is it for the jacket, and that's what we're gonna be mainly focusing on today. And then we'll get more into the bodysuit when I move on to that. Since we are on such a time crunch, I really wanna focus on the jacket and get that done so that I can at least have the jacket and the boots, and I have a backup navy sequin dress if the bodysuit doesn't work out, but I'm gonna try my best to get it done before we leave. And I feel like I could probably do it. We'll see. Maybe I'm a little overconfident in my own abilities, but we're gonna try. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the update on how the jacket slash bodysuit is going. And for most of my day today, I will probably just be sewing more fringe onto this jacket. So I'll check back in if anything else happens. Also, in addition to my hands turning pink, my sewing machine is turning pink as well. So that's fun. Also, yes, I know my sewing machine is very old. It was gifted to me by my grandma, and it is a workhorse of a machine. It's like fully metal. I love this thing. It's great. But yeah, this thing is like older than I am, and it's turning pink. From this one project. I've used this sewing machine so much, but this is the thing it can't survive. This is its breaking point. My tinsel jacket for the Taylor Swift concert. This is what does it in. So a little bit of an impromptu update for you. What is hopefully the rest of the rhinestones that I will be needing for this bodysuit should be coming in within the next 2 hours. So until then, I'm gonna put in my headphones, I'm gonna listen to a book, and then I'm going to just work on my jacket until they get here. Then we can go over all of the beads and rhinestones and things like that that I have for the bodysuit once they all arrive. Go ahead and grab yourself a beverage, an iced coffee, whatever you fancy. And let's go ahead and just get into doing some sewing. Alrighty friends, checking back in. As you can tell, my hands are still very pink. This is just how they are now, apparently. One of my friends did say that it is kind of giving reverse Wicked. Like if Glinda was pink instead of Elphaba being green, like it kind of looks like that, especially when it's really bad and I haven't washed my hands. It is about 4:30 right now. I think I'm gonna call it a day on the jacket. I'm really tired of sewing, but I did get a lot done. Pardon my mess, but this is what it's looking like right now. I've got both of the sleeves pretty much to the same point, and then the torso I did go back through, as you would have seen, and I added some more layers in between so that it's more full, because I do think that it looks better this way overall. So yeah, I still have 3 packs of tinsel left. There is 5 yards in each pack, so I have 15 yards left of the initial 50 that I ordered. Since I'm making it a little more full, I will probably need to order a couple more packs of the tinsel just because I really want it to be really full and nice and swishy so I can twirl. We all know twirling's the most important part, so twirlability is like goal number 1. So tomorrow or whenever I get back to actually sewing this thing, I'm going to have to kind of eyeball it and see how much more I will need. Right now, I think I'm gonna move on to doing some beading because the rest of the gems that I ordered did arrive today. So I'm gonna take this jacket off of the mannequin so we can take a look at the bodysuit underneath. My back is hurting right now from being hunched over and sewing all day. So I might go lay down for a few minutes just to give my back a break, maybe scroll on TikTok for a bit, but then I will be back and we will see how much rhinestoning I can do before I get too tired and need to go to sleep. I think it's coming together pretty nicely. I don't expect it to be perfect at all or like a 1-for-1 recreation. I'm just figuring it out as I go and trying my best to make it look decent. If I haven't given this disclaimer earlier, I don't know what I'm doing. I own a sewing machine and I was taught the basics of sewing at a young age, and I'm just winging it from there. So I just refuse to fail. That is the main motivation here. I just refuse to fail, and I will have a tinsel jacket by the end of this, bare minimum. I might even have a bodysuit too. We shall see. So as for the materials that I will be using for the bodysuit portion of this project, I got a lot of different sizes and colors of rhinestones and other flat back gems, just so that the bodysuit can have a bit more dimension to it and it's not just all one color. So first off, I already had several sizes of these dark blue flat back crystals. If you've been around my channel for a minute, you will probably recognize these from when I did my Elton John jersey last year. These are the exact same crystals that I used for that. These are just left over from that project, which was perfect because they're the same shade of blue that I need for this one. And I have 3 sizes of those. Then also left over from that project, I have some of these clear crystals as well. I don't know if I'm gonna use these or not because I did get some other ones that I might like more that are a bit more iridescent than these are. Then I also got these smaller blue gems so that I can use them in smaller gaps and things like that. I don't really know if I will need ones this small, but they are nice to have just in case so that I can make sure that the bodysuit looks nice and full and sparkly just like the jacket will. Then I also got this gem pack. It has some pearl pieces and then it also has some different shades of blue rhinestones as well. This pack had a good mix where it could provide a bit more depth to the color range and stuff like that. So we'll see how much of this I use. Then I also got a pack of these blue teardrop shaped flat back rhinestones. There are some spots with some larger details like this. I'm not gonna open this box up because if you can see, there are some teeny tiny black gems that are stuck in the cracks, so I'm just not gonna open it right now. But I also got these varying sizes of black flat back rhinestones, as well as this pack of specifically the size 20 flatback rhinestones in black, because there are several black details on the bodysuit and I just want to make sure that I have a nice variety of sizes so that it looks as good as possible. And aside from the rhinestones, I also have some white colored pencils. I do have some chalk somewhere. I don't know where it went. I lost it, so that I can map out the pattern on the bodysuit a little bit more if I want to. In order to pick up the rhinestones, I just took this old
old craft paintbrush. It's literally like Craft Smart brand. It's not a great paintbrush. I don't really use it that often, but I just put a little bit of candle wax on the end. So this is what I'm going to use to pick up the rhinestones and put them on my bodysuit. Then I also have these little bead trays that are for gem painting, but they also work really well for holding some of these smaller gemstones so that I can more easily stick them onto my bodysuit. And lastly, but most certainly not least, because this project wouldn't really work without it, so much glue. A lot of these crystals came with these bottles of B7000 glue, including this one that I've already opened and been using, but I'm keeping it separate just so I don't get it mixed up with the unopened ones. So yeah, we have plenty of glue, plenty of rhinestones. If I haven't mentioned it already, here's a reference picture of the bodysuit that I'm making. I am not trying to make an exact replica. I think what I'm pretty much gonna do is just map out some basic curves on the bodysuit and then just fill them in however I see fit. It'll look close enough, it'll get the point across, and then I won't have to stress about making it perfect because it's really hard to find clear pictures that actually show the beading on some of these bodysuits close up. So we're just gonna try our best with the reference photos that we have. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it, I guess. Pardon my pointing with a paintbrush, but as you can tell, my nails don't look great. So we're gonna point with a paintbrush. So essentially what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start right here in the middle with one of those big teardrop gems. And then I'm gonna just build around that, because I think if I start with these lines, because I didn't really measure it out, I just kind of sketched out the general shapes. I think if I try to like do all of these lines, it's just gonna not end up looking right. So I'm gonna start right here in the middle and just kind of work my way outwards and then just consult my reference photo as I go. I'm hoping that that will yield me at least a decent looking bodysuit. Like I said, probably won't be exactly the same as hers, but I just wanna get the general gist right, okay? Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Oh, there's something in my eye. Oh, that happened right when I hit record. What the heck? Oh, okay. There was something in my eye there for a second. That was uncomfortable. Anyways, I haven't checked in a while. I've just been working away on the bodysuit and the jacket. I did take a break from doing the jacket because it did turn my hands pink, and I would rather not have pink hands at Thanksgiving. So I decided to take a little break from sewing on the fringe of the jacket. I'm pretty close to being done with sewing the fringe on, so that will be a project for like Friday. So since then, I've been mainly focusing on bedazzling the bodysuit, and I've made some pretty good progress. Yeah, so as you can see, it's not perfect. Like there's little imperfections where the lines aren't quite as straight as I would like them to be, but overall, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm basically just freehanding the whole thing. I do have some reference pictures that are a loose guide, but I'm just doing whatever I think will look cute on my bodysuit with the gems that I have. And I think that the general similar pattern will be enough to get the point across of which outfit inspired mine. I do have more beaded fringe coming. It's just not here yet. And I don't like how dark this is compared to the bodysuit. So I went ahead and repurchased this in a royal blue color, and I think that's going to be here on Friday. So my plan is to replace this with the royal blue color, and then it'll blend in more with these beads that I have for the fringe. And I also have a couple more packs of these beaded fringe pieces as well. Hopefully with all of that, we can make this look nice and pretty and full like tailors. That is what I've gotten done so far. And that is what I'm going to be working on this evening as well. I am in the middle of toning my hair for Thanksgiving, so I've got about 40 more minutes until I need to wash this out. And until then, I will just be working on this bodysuit. So yeah, that's enough yapping. I need to get to gluing. So let's get to it. Alrighty, good morning everyone. It has been a minute since I checked in. You haven't missed anything. I've literally just been working on bedazzling my bodysuit basically every free moment that I have, and my body is protesting. The dress form does seem to slip the more that I turn it around, which is a lot of what I'm doing for this because you know, I'm doing the whole 360 of the bodysuit, so I kind of got to spin it around to see what I'm doing. And yeah, so it just keeps like slipping, and then in response, I keep hunching. Though I've been trying really hard not to stand in weird positions that mess up my back or anything like that, it does still happen. So that has basically been my cue to stop and take a break whenever my back starts getting sore. But it's nothing that a few hours of rest can't fix. So usually when I wake up in the morning, I feel pretty good again. That's an update on my 30-year-old body during this experience. But as far as the bodysuit goes, we can do a quick update. It's coming along. So like, as you can see, I have most of the front completely done. I didn't go all the way down to where I have the trim pinned because I do want to try it on and make sure that I like the placement of the fringe before I sew it on, because I haven't like fully tried this on with the rhinestones yet. And these have been drying overnight, so they're pretty secure on there. So first order of business is I want to try this on and then repin the trim so that I know how much I need and where exactly I want it to lay on me specifically. And then I did all of this yesterday and I filled in these on both sides. So this is what the back is looking like. I haven't gotten fully to the back yet, but we are coming to the back side of this bodysuit. And even Taylor's bodysuit is not very detailed on the back. So it's basically like two panels going this way and then there's one in the middle going down. I may add in some more intricacies to it if I feel like it, if I feel like it'll look good. If you compare the design on my bodysuit to the one that Taylor wears, it's not exactly the same, but it is pretty close, and I've kind of been freestyling, especially like these middle parts. I was trying to be fairly close on this top part with these like larger gems and the general shape of it, but I've kind of like taken some liberties of my own, like putting these here and using more black and silver just because I want to make sure that I have enough gems to do the whole thing. So mine will look a little bit different than Taylor's does in the end, but I still think it's going to be really pretty and really fun to wear. And then this is what I have done for the coat so far. I did stop working on the coat before Thanksgiving just because it was turning my hands completely pink. So I took a little break. And then also this last row kind of got really wonky, so I want to undo this last row and try to fix that as well. But yeah, so that is pretty much the update right now. I'm going to take this off the mannequin and try it on. I really hope that none of these gems pop off when I take it off the mannequin. And I'm going to be putting it on very gingerly so that hopefully everything stays adhered. The newest parts I glued onto this bodysuit have had about like 15-ish hours to set. So I feel like this is probably going to be the best time to try it on just to make sure everything is looking okay when I actually put it on. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then once I finish that, I will wiggle it back onto the mannequin and we will continue finishing up the back and the bottom of this bodysuit.
hopefully we can have it done within like the next day or so I can just have it off my plate and not have to worry about it again until the actual concert. And then I will also be bringing some spare gems and glue with me, just in case I have to re-adhere some gems onto the bodysuit after we get there. I have been sticking my hand in between the dress form and the bodysuit and kind of like stretching it out and like compressing the fabric together just to see how well the gems will stick. And it seems like they're pretty adhered on there, so I'm hoping that that is actually the case and I won't have much trouble with losing gems, at least for one night. As long as it lasts one night, that's all I care about. If gems fall off after the fact, I'm not gonna be that upset about it, but I just want it to look good for the concert specifically. So I'm gonna stop stalling and go ahead and try this on and see how it's looking. Let's hope that it looks good. Alrighty friends, it is much later now. It is about 9:15 at night. You can see my ring light and my glasses. I really don't care. I needed light on the mannequin while I was working today. I did not take a break, so I have been gluing on rhinestones to this bodysuit for over 12 hours. I started at like 8 o'clock this morning and it is now 9:15 at night. But I want to give you all an But I want to give you an overview of what I did finish today and I guess a little update of what I have left to finish because we're getting close to the end. And hopefully I can finish this soon so that it's not taking up space in my mind anymore. And yeah, I am very tired and I need to go to sleep because I have to work in the morning. Fun.
And I'll just give her a quick little spin so you can see. Most of what I have left to do is on the back and the bottom. And I have run out of silver rhinestones. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna go get more or if I'm just gonna change colors because I really don't want to buy another pack of rhinestones right now.
That is pretty much it for my update this evening. I didn't do any work on the jacket. I was just really into the rhinestoning, so I just let that be what I worked on the most today. I think what I have left to do on the jacket is going to be hopefully a little bit easier than figuring out the logistics of this bodysuit. So I just tried to tackle the thing that I thought would be the most difficult today, and that is the bottom half of this bodysuit. So basically what I was doing was I was gluing the trim, pinning it in place while the glue dried, and then working on the rhinestones while the glue was drying on the trim. And then I glued a bit more of the trim down, put some pins in it, let it dry, rinse and repeat, that kind of thing. If it ends up being like it is in my head, then I will be happy. So that is it for my evening update. I am gonna go get ready for bed and I'm gonna pass out for a couple hours until I inevitably have to wake up for work. I'll talk to you guys maybe in the morning. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Might not be in the morning, but I'll check in tomorrow at some point. Bye.
So as you can probably tell, it is getting more and more difficult to sew this fringe on the farther that I get into this project. And there are I think two main reasons why it was very difficult and why it took me so long. This is sped up by like 2000%. So I am sewing so slow because one, I have to make sure that the fringe that I've already sewn on is lying flat. It's not in the way of the sewing machine at all, so it won't get stuck in my machine. And then at the same time, I'm trying to shove the rest of this coat through the small gap between my arm and the base of the sewing machine. It's kind of difficult to feed all of the jacket through the sewing machine. So yeah, this just got more and more difficult the farther that I got into the jacket. But in the end, I think that the struggle was worth it. The hours and hours that I put into the outfit were worth it because it came out looking so good. Like I said, it is not a perfect one-to-one recreation. It is kind of my spin on the Midnight's bodysuit / karma jacket outfit, but I think it came out really great. I got a lot of compliments on it at the concert.
So that is pretty much it for the construction of my Eras Tour outfit. I think it came out so good. It really closely resembled what I was picturing in my head. If you look really closely at my coat, you'll notice a bunch of mistakes that I made, but for the most part, the tinsel covers all of that, and that is all I really cared about. I just wanted it to look good and be functional, and I think I accomplished both of those things. I was definitely warm the entire night, which was my goal to begin with. The concert was in Vancouver in December. It was cold, and my main concern was being cold walking to and from the concert, so it worked out great for that. I think I also mentioned that I added pockets to the inside of this coat because wearing a bodysuit, I don't have any pockets. I didn't want to carry a purse. So it was a great idea of mine to put pockets on the inside of this coat so that I could still have my phone and everything I needed on me at all times. And I'm also very glad that I was patient and persistent in looking for the right bodysuit for this outfit, because I don't think it would have looked nearly as good if I would have just settled for one of the other bodysuits I saw online. And I'm glad that I waited until I found one that actually looked like what I wanted before I started deep diving into the bedazzling. I'm not kidding you guys. It took me so long to find the right bodysuit that I had a navy sequin dress that I was ready to bring with me and wear instead, because I wasn't going to put in all of that effort if I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. And I'm so glad that I was persistent in waiting until I found the right thing, because otherwise I don't think I would have had nearly the same result. I am absolutely in love with how the bodysuit turned out. Even editing this video, I really loved watching myself bedazzling the bodysuit, and it made me want to make another one. I don't think I'll ever make another tinsel coat again, because by the end of sewing all of the tinsel on, I wanted to burn that thing, if I'm being quite honest. It was such a nightmare to deal with towards the end, just because, as I mentioned earlier, the farther I got into the sewing of the tinsel onto the jacket, the more unruly the tinsel would get, and it just got so hard to be able to get the tinsel to lay flat and not get caught up in the machine itself. And on top of that, as you have seen throughout this video, it turned most things that it touched pink. So you would have seen that my hands were completely pink. I guess as an update, you can see that my hands are back to normal color now, so it was just temporary. It didn't like permanently dye my skin or anything like that. But it was really annoying because I had to think about like what shirt I was wearing. Was I okay with it turning a little bit pink? And same with my pants too. I had a couple of sleep shorts that now have like pink tinges to them because of this project. I don't even know if you can see, but my TV remote now has a little bit of a pink tinge to it because I was watching YouTube and TV while I was doing a lot of the bedazzling. And of course, my sewing machine is now fairly pink, and I don't think that's gonna come off either. So all of that to say, I don't think I'm gonna be doing another tinsel jacket or tinsel based project anytime soon. I'm glad that I did it once. I'm glad that I proved to myself that I could do it. Don't think I'm ever gonna do it again. But The bodysuit was a lot of fun. I did really enjoy doing all of the rhinestoning on there. The only thing that made the bodysuit less fun was the fact that I was on such a time crunch because it took me so long to find a good bodysuit to do the bedazzling in the first place. But I think if I would have been able to find that bodysuit sooner, maybe like in September, and had a couple months to space out the bedazzling, I think it would have been a lot more fun. It would have been a lot easier on my back because my back did get very tired and sore throughout this whole thing, which I'm pretty sure you heard me complain about at least a couple times in this video. All in all, I think that all of the literal blood, sweat, and tears that went into making this outfit were well worth it. I got some really great pictures at the concert. I had such a great time. I got so many compliments on my outfit. People were really surprised that I made it myself. I really loved how my outfit came out. I had such a great time at the concert. I think that having this special outfit just made it even more fun in the end. And it caused like some interesting conversations as well. Is this like my first like venture into becoming like a cosplay person? Am I just gonna start doing Taylor Swift bodysuits? That would be really funny if I started like doing just recreating Taylor Swift bodysuits. There are so many, even just from the Eras tour alone, there are so many bodysuits that I could do like this. That would cost so much money though, money that I do not have. So maybe one day, if I have the disposable income, I can do more of these bodysuits because it was a lot of fun and I would definitely do one again. I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me desperately try to complete this project before I had to go to the concert. Oh, I guess I should update on the state of both garments as of now. I did wash the bodysuit and nothing really fell off. So that B7000 glue is really good if you are trying to do a DIY project kind of like this. I would recommend that glue 1000%. I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I was going to try and sew the fringe skirt of the bodysuit onto the bodysuit. But in the end, I decided just to do like dots of glue. I didn't fully glue the fringe down because I still wanted it to be able to stretch with the fabric and whatnot. So just wanted to clear that up a little bit. There is no sewing on the bodysuit. It's all glue. And I guess on the flip side, the jacket is all sewing and nothing else. So we've got a good mix, I guess, of glue and sewing. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up a little bit because I think I didn't say that clear enough while I was actually in the thick of making the project. I was probably just so like in my own head of like panicking on how I'm going to finish it in time that I just did not actually verbally communicate that to the camera. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. Let me know. I apologize if this is a bit on the longer side, but it took a lot of time, okay? What do you expect? I literally spent every waking moment of free time working on this thing for like 3 weeks straight. You're gonna have to cut me some slack. Okay, it's a big project. It took a lot of time. But if you made it this far, I hope that you enjoyed watching me construct this outfit. I do still want to upload my Seattle/Vancouver vlog of the actual trip for the concert. So hopefully I can get that put together and edited very soon now that I know where my SD cards are. That is the main hurdle that kept me from posting this for so long. I lost my SD cards and I could not find them for the life of me until like last week. So I will work on that and hopefully I can get it up within the next couple weeks so that we can fully say goodbye to the Eras tour and also have a record of the memories online as well. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Yeah.